Welcome back to the Red Sofa interviews. Here I've got Chandan Trehan, who's lead digital supply chain and logistics from Bosch North America. Chandan, thank you very much for coming to the conference. Let me just start by getting a feel for the glimpse in terms of your work that you're doing there with regard to being a lead in digital supply chain and when it comes to organizational change at Bosch.
First of all, thank you so much for having me over here. And I lead the digital supply chain service line here at Bosch. One of my key jobs is to make sure to see how new age emerging technology can be used in our real supply chains to make them more resilient, better, efficient, and all that. One way I usually describe my job is we live in a world which is very expressive, right? We as humans are expressive. So when supply chains are talking to us, there are two things that I need to do. One, create a mechanism where supply chains can speak to us. Mm-hmm. Second, create a mechanism where we understand what they're talking to us. So if there are possibilities of breakages that could possibly happen in your supply chain, identifying the potential errors, potential issues that your supply chain may face in future, these are some of the key roles that I try to play. Org change, of course, is one of the key aspects of what we do here at Bosch as well. It's very critical to look at any of these programs not just as a technology solution, but a combination of people, process, and technology. Mm-hmm. So the kind of technologies that we're talking about, the use cases that we're talking about, 5 years ago, they were completely different. And the interesting thing is 5 years later, they're going to be very different as well. Yeah. The only thing that's going to stay constant is change. So the mindset to change, it's not the mindset to adopt or learn one particular technology, but a mindset to have that openness to adopt whatever is best for your job.
Right. Well, that's really interesting. We're going to be talking in the conference about organizational change and how it's a prerequisite almost for digital transformation. Now, within Bosch, have you seen some examples of some important team organizational changes that you've done in terms of enabling that digital transformation?
I think one of the key things that we started when we started transforming ourselves as an AIoT company is to make sure that there is standard AI literacy that is available with every individual who is working there, irrespective of what wake of job they come from. Everybody had to go through some level of AI training. So that sets the basic context on top of which new use cases will be done. Second thing that we do very strongly is to make sure that we promote an innovation culture. Innovation is not a vertical. There are not a handful of people thinking about innovative ideas for Bosch. It's going to be every individual in their job to identify opportunities for innovation for themselves as well. So that's another aspect that we bring in. We have created a process, we call that as Bosch Innovation Framework, which sets out a very qualitative as well as quantitative measure to measure innovation and the impact of that innovation in the global way. For most people who are doing these kind of innovations for the first time, it also sets a roadmap that tells them, okay, these are the next few things that you need to do to get your innovation out there and create the maximum impact from that.
And talking of innovation, part of that process is having a constant communication and a culture of communication, culture of innovation. And how do you foster that in terms of communication so you can make sure everyone understands where the direction of travel is in terms of supply chain digitalization?
Great question. In fact, one of the reasons why we had this innovation framework and this communication framework is to make sure that we have a common language that everybody understands, because transformation can mean very different to everybody else, right? So it's important to have that common language created, and that's what frameworks essentially do. That's the first thing. The second thing is to create a culture of transparency and openness and candor, because the ideas can come in from any point. It could be an intern who just joined you last week to your CEO. Anybody and everybody can think about innovation. The new ideas could come in from any point. So that level of candorness and transparency has also become
and you're allowing everyone to speak up and
exactly. So that's the only way I think innovation in general can happen, because if people are scared to put across their ideas, or at times if they do not agree to a certain idea and they are not speaking up at that point, that's another bigger challenge than not having ideas.
That openness helps, right?
Exactly.
And part of that is actually enabling an agile workforce, because that's one of the things that as we go through digital transformation, there's lots of change happening. How do you ensure you have a sort of digital but agile mindset within the organization and within teams and individuals?
So data-driven attitude is something that we promote a lot at Bosch. We believe that for any decision that is ever being made, there should be adequate data that is supporting that decision. So that is a mindset change again. At times, it is not just, it could be a gut feel, but even for you to make that gut feel, you have to make sure that there is enough data that backs up. You may be wrong, you may be right. But as long as there is data that helps you move in a particular direction, that helps you create that hypothesis for you to move in that particular direction, that helps. So that kind of brings in that agility in the mindset that, I'm going to make decisions. I'm going to make decisions fast. Some of them may fail. It's not the problem. The problem is not with decisions failing. The problem is your inability to correct those decisions, to pivot when you realize that they're going to fail. So the idea is to use data to understand those potential failures as early in the game as possible, so that you can pivot as early as possible and minimize your losses to the maximum extent possible.
And have that mindset of being flexible enough and have that trust, I suppose, within the organization, within the teams, right?
Exactly. So nobody ever gets punished for a wrong decision. People get punished when they knew that they were doing something that is not going to help the organization in a larger run, and they continue to do that. So it's fine to make a mistake once, but if you're trying to put the dirt under the carpet, that's a much bigger crime to me than anything else. Exactly.
Just to round off, what's your sort of one piece of advice when organizations are going through this digital transformation vis-a-vis the organization? What kind of, if you can give one piece of advice to our audience, what would that be?
And this is one advice I often give to all people who are embarking on this journey. If you are going for a large-scale transformation program and you do not upset a large percentage of your employees, you're not doing enough or you're not doing it right. So transformation programs are expected to make people feel a little uncomfortable, because only when they move out of their comfort zone, they embrace new things, that they really see the success out of it. So do not be scared if you feel that it's going to make a large number of people upset. The idea is to make sure that at least half of your employee population should feel a little uncomfortable with the change.
You make a certain percent uncomfortable. That's great advice. Chandan, lead for digital supply chain. Thank you very much. You can catch him on all our social media, and we're going to post this, and we're going to have more conversations at the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.